Hi, dear students. Now, this is the time where we need to analyze the recent MCA screening exam. So, on August 31st, we had a MCA screening exam which was conducted, and I thought, it's a good idea for all the future aspirants to analyze and see how this exam was and what was the difference between this exam and the previous exam. Number one thing to realize is this exam was at a different level of difficulty as well as on the pattern from previous exams. So it is very important to see this. This is kind of a paradigm shift that has happened. And whenever such a thing happens, it gives us a glimpse of what would happen in the future MCA exams. So it's a very, very important exam to analyze for all future aspirants. Now, let's try to understand the entire idea. Okay. Now, this exam was in a way a reflector of what to reflect in the future. Now we all know in future the exam bodies are going to shift from the licensing exam not only for foreign graduates. In future the exam bodies want to create a licensing exam for Indian medical graduates as well as foreign medical graduates, a common exam which will be called as the national exit exam. So this national exit exam has multiple purposes. It serves as a licensing exam for students studying in India. It serves as a licensing exam for students studying abroad. And plus, it also serves as a single window exam for PG entrance exam. Why am I saying this is because next is proposed to be a clinical predominant paper. Next is supposed to be a paper where you will have more questions on clinical pattern. And that is the future proposal. Now, what I want everybody to understand is last year's NEET PG that happened in 2020 and August 2020 MCA screening. Both of them have one common feature. Both of them are clinical predominant. And what I believe is it is a trailer of things to come. These exams are kind of a glimpse of what is going to happen in the future. So that is why we need to dissect this year's MCA exam, especially for all the foreign medical graduates who are, learning abroad. And I want to, use this opportunity to give them an idea on what is happening so that they can plan their preparation accordingly. Let's start with the first message here. The first message here is that 2020 August exam was a paradigm shift. It was not what we have seen in the past. Now, what happens in the past is in MCA screening exam, I've analyzed many of those. There would be a one-liner predominance in the exam. Predominant exam would be one-liner, and then there will be a division of paper 1 and paper 2 where you would have basics and pre and paraclinical in the paper 1 and clinical sciences in the paper 2. But all this was not followed in this year's exam. This year exam, they changed the idea. This was not having one-liners. It was not having those basic sciences. So the syllabus was not followed in that manner. The distribution was actually reflective of what you see in the future proposed exit exam. In the MCA screening exam, now you had a clinical predominant paper, a visual predominant paper, and a reduced weightage of basic sciences. And this is something of note for all. Like suppose if you are a medical student abroad in your first year, second year, third year, you need to be listening to me carefully to understand what is happening, because once you understand what is happening and why behind it, you can plan your studies accordingly. Let's start to understand it further. Now, we had a third, fourth year predominance in this paper. There was a predominance of clinical questions. Even the basic sciences were asked with clinical vignette in style. So one of the foremost change that we have seen in 2020 in all exams, we saw this in NEET PG 2020, we are looking at MCI screening 2020, we are looking at clinical vignette predominant. And as a part of our organization's theory of DAMS, we've been working on clinical vignettes a lot. In the last 6 months in our DQB, in DAMS question bank, we have added around 3,000 clinical vignettes in the paper. We have added a separate question bank for images because of this. And I feel that is the way forward now. Clinical vignettes, looking at basic sciences, but looking with a clinical blanket, visuals. Visuals is a very, very important part of the paper. And now we need to actually learn how to deal with the image based questions. Now what I believe is many students, when they see a lot of images, and this paper was with a lot of images in the paper, which is unusual. In MCA screening, you always have more one-liner factual question. This time we had more visual and clinical vignettes. So for all future aspirants, I want you to know, please don't be afraid of any visual question. I'll tell you a small trick to apply. Whenever you look at a visual question, instead of looking at the image, look at the choices first. Look at the choices first. Once you see the choices, then you know that, okay, I am going to look at the picture to rule out these 4 choices. That makes it easy because you are able to restrict your thought process to 4 choices. Same thought process applies to clinical vignette. So clinical vignette and image-based questions are an art where you need to look at the last line first in a clinical vignette. And I'm sure if you are following our channel, you must have seen around 2-3 weeks back, we did a seminar on how to approach a clinical vignette. So that is very important for you as well to apply how to look at a clinical vignette. Look at the last line first, then see the choices, then look at the visual and the stem of the question. You will save a lot of time, you will be able to rule out better, and you'll be able to do better. Now the key here is, in a clinical vignette or a visual question, you may not know the answer by recall. You may have to rule out the things. And that is where, sometimes, and I see this every time, that, when you have a long stem, longer paper, now the things which become more valuable are how do you manage your time, how do you manage your cool in the exam. And another thing that becomes valuable is, that you may not be able to judge your performance properly because you do not know, did you do it right or wrong, because they were not one-liners where okay, itna to theek ho gaya. I have to apply my mind. And that is where, after such a paper, it becomes very difficult to judge how the paper has gone. And many candidates are finding it tough, or some candidates are finding easy. But what I believe is, when the questions are longer in STEM, usually the results come better. The reason is because there is so many clues there, but all you need is you need to apply your mind onto it. If you don't apply your mind onto it, then it becomes tough, because it is not a recall question, it's an analytical question. I'll explain it further by looking at some examples. Now I want you to see this example here. You can see the first is a microbiology image where you can see trichura, and then second is a IVP image where you can see a ureterocele adder head appearance. Now the difference between this year's paper and a previous paper would have been, like, suppose if I have to, as a radiologist, ask you ureterocele. Okay, so one-liner exam was, and this is a previous MCA question as well, they have asked cobra head appearance seen. Then the answer would have been ureterocele. Ureterocele is congenital dilatation of the distal ureter. Okay, but when it becomes a clinical question, there will be some patient's name, history, and some IVP given to you, and they will say, what do you think is the diagnosis? Now you have to think, looking at the image, that okay, the distal ureter is dilated, that is adder head appearance, that is your ureterocele. But the difference here is, now you have to think. Okay, you cannot recall. Okay, because the key here is that one-liner paper was recall predominant. Okay, now we are looking at a clinical predominant paper. I'll give you another example. Now suppose I say brain hemorrhage is hyperdense. You can remember it. But now you have a patient where you have a hemorrhage here, and you have to identify this patient has a temporal lobe bleed, or you have to identify in the next image, if you notice, some mitral valve replacement has been done. There is a pleural effusion. Now what happens here is, there would have been questions saying brain hemorrhage, acute brain hemorrhage on a CT scan appears. Hyperdense, that would have been a one-liner. But now I have a history of a patient with head injury, and look at this, this is a hemorrhagic contusion in the temporal lobe or a hemorrhage. You need to apply what you know. That application part is added here. However, if you notice, it becomes a shade easier than mugging up thousands of facts. I've always been, I never like the papers where you have a lot of values being asked in the paper. So there will be paper, they will be saying, this was discovered by. Now in a licensing exam, you should never ask somebody the is scientist ka naam and all those things. What is the weight of prostate and all those things. So this time, they have gone towards the clinical side of the paper. And that is the trend globally now happening. Even in a US medical licensing exam now, they have now proposed that in future the step 1 will become pass and fail. it will be more clinical predominance. The residency will be more decided by the step 2 CK score in future in US. And if you see a similar kind of a feeling in the MCI screening in this year's exam, more clinical pictures, and even in things like pathology, histopathological images with clinical correlations were asked. There were like very few questions on first year subjects, and you can kind of get a feeling for future exams. The key here is that we need to think in a analytical manner. We need to understand. We don't need to memorize things. That is the key here. Another set of questions was integrated. There were questions in this year's paper which were clinical, but there was a radiological image given to you. A medicine question with a radiological image, a surgery question with a radiological image, microbiology questions but with clinical correlations, okay, pharma questions but with clinical correlation, not too many questions directly, and more questions on eye and ENT, more questions on psychiatry and skin, as which are not usual in MCI screening, but this time they have given more weightage to the clinical short subjects like eye, ENT. Radiology was very, very important in this year's exam. Skin, psychiatry, very, very important. Now what I want you to see is, in proposed next exam also, eye, ENT short subjects have been thought of as more value than a classic MCI screening exam. So we can start getting a feel of it. Next would have even more questions than this. Next would be 540 question paper with more and more clinical vignettes in it, but you start getting a feel of it. Okay, and this is the feel that we saw in NEET PG 2020 also. Okay, and so what I'm saying in the seminar is would be valuable for say our NEET 2021 aspirants as well as December 2020 MCI screening aspirants also, that this is the way forward. Okay, this is the way the government is looking at the papers. This is the way the exam board is looking at the papers. They are shifting from fact-based one-liners to clinical questions. Okay, and that would increase when the next comes. So that is the thought process. And you can see a buzzword of connecting the dots, integration. Instead of asking radiology and medicine separately, they are asking it in one question. Instead of asking a microbiology question, they are asking it with a clinical history with a microbiological slide, or a clinical history with a pathology slide. Okay, so what they have done is they have joined 2-3 subjects. Now again, that makes it slightly tougher on the first go, but then gradually you start to feel it. Now many students keep asking me that, sir, how should I learn to integrate? Now this integration would not happen when you start your journey. I want you to understand. Suppose I'm a second year MBBS, third year MBBS, you cannot connect the dots. Why? Because you have not seen the clinical part. So in the initial part of your journey, you are dependent on your teachers, your mentors, to help you see the connections. But when you finish your syllabus, then you look back, you start seeing it. And I'm sure many of you who are appearing for MCI screening exam this year or would be appearing in December, when you are finishing your syllabus, when you look back, you start understanding, okay, the same thing, the lung function tests were taught by the physiology people, but they were also taught by the medicine people, and we connect them when we talk about COPD and restrictive lung disease, obstructive lung disease. You find a lot of things getting connected. But connecting the dot happens when you're looking back, when you're finishing your syllabus. Okay, and that is true even for this year's NEET PG aspirants. So when we will be now for NEET PG, we would be doing a very big seminar, and that would be useful even for a December MCI screening aspirant also. We are doing a session called as DVT, DAMS Visual Treat, in October, where we will be revising visuals. We will be looking at integration, how different subjects integrate, and I think it's one of its kind event in the entire country where we revise, and every year thousands and thousands of students all over India attend that event to learn integration and visuals. Now let's start thinking about, say, what is the difference when we are appearing for a paper which is more clinical. Now the key here is that now you cannot get all your answers by recall. You understand that? Suppose there is a question that I know that, okay, suppose they say, what is the investigation of choice for acute subarachnoid hemorrhage in the brain? NCCT, recall. I remember it, I'm able to do it. But suppose they change it into a clinical vignette and I say a patient comes to you with sudden onset, very severe headache, with neck rigidity on examination, no fever. What would you do to confirm your suspected diagnosis? Okay, now this becomes a clinical vignette. I have to understand that sudden severe headache is thunderclap headache, that is worst headache of his life, which has been asked in MCI exams in the past. And now I have to think neck rigidity happens because of meningismus, which is a sign of anything irritating the meninges. And here we are looking at subarachnoid hemorrhage, acute subarachnoid hemorrhage. We need to do NCCT. They have written no fever to rule out meningitis in the history as well. Now you can see here that in such questions, now your goal is not to get directly to the answer. It will become difficult to get directly to the answer. You will have to rule out one by one. The meningitis is not the answer because they are not saying any fever in the question. The headache is very severe and sudden onset. Let's think of SAH, and like this you will be able to rule out one by one. And then you will have to think of what is to be done, what investigation is to be done. Now what happens in a question like this, and I want everybody to understand, in every exam there are questions which are directly solvable from your memory or recall, but there are even more questions which are solvable by ruling out each choices. That is where in DAMS I always tell children that class notes are important, because what will happen is, suppose you get a question that you do not know by your recall, but out of the choices there will be some things that you know from your class notes. You enter into that question through those choices and you know, okay, this is not the answer, this is not the answer. And if you're able to rule out two choices, then the game becomes easier. Okay, so the game of this entire exam would now be ruling out choices, reading the last line of the question first, looking at the choices before you look at the visual so that you know what you have to think on the visual. Try and imagine now. Suppose I look at an image, I am thinking of thousands of things. But you don't need to think of thousands of things. You need to think of what is in the choice. Now suppose I give you a choice, a chest x-ray showing pleural effusion, and the choices are saying pneumothorax, pleural effusion. I want you to see the choice first. Once you have seen the choice, now you know pneumothorax matlab there is air in the pleura, that must be black. And pleural effusion means there is water in the pleura, must be white, opaque. So now I know that when I look at the x-ray, I have to see if the disease side is more black or more white. Okay, and I'm able to rule out one of the choices. But otherwise you will look at the image and you're vaguely thinking and you'll waste a lot of time. Same thing happens in a long stem question. Look at the last line first. Rather than looking at the entire vignette and wasting time, look at the last line. What is asked? What are the choices? Then look at the history and whatever they have written, you will be able to pick up keywords faster. It would not happen overnight, but it would happen with practice. And that is where things like DQB comes in, DAMS question bank, where we have more clinical vignettes, image-based questions are there, and that is what our strength in DAMS is. Our strength in DAMS is integration and clinical. Now, what I believe is this exam has some messages for future aspirants. Now, suppose I am a second year or third year student, I would sincerely advise you that please start early. Do not wait till your final 6 months to prepare for MCI screening, and in future you would be actually preparing for next. That is very, very important. Now what happens is, sometimes when we delay the entire exam process to last 6 months, in the last 6 months suddenly when you're bombarded with the data that you need, now what happens is you don't have any choice. Should I mug it up or should I understand? But the time is running, the clock is running counterwise. So if you have, if you are listening to me at the right time, okay, I will give an advice for both the kind of students who are appearing for December exam and who are appearing for, future exam. But if you're a future aspirant, starting early is the key. You have to somehow think just like what an Indian graduate is thinking. Today, if you're a second year MBBS in India, each second year MBBS is thinking about next. This is the proposed pattern of next. 20% questions from first, second prof, 80% questions from third and fourth prof. Now you will now see what students in India are doing with us is that most of them would be starting in second year. Okay, then they would finish their first, second prof with us in the second year itself, and then third year they go, and third and fourth year they cover the clinical subjects. And so they spend 2 years in DAMS classes for third and fourth year and 1 year for your basic sciences. This is what they are already doing. But what happens is, when you are a foreign medical graduate, many times you're not aware of what is to be done and how things are being done. And what happens is you start thinking about the exam at a later date, and you have like 6 months, and at that 6 months you kind of download a lot of material, and then it all gets too messy. Okay, so starting early is one of the key. Being aware of the word next is one of the key. Next would have clinical predominance in the paper. It would be a 3-day paper. It would not be a 1-day paper. It would be having 540 total questions. It would not be 300 questions. It would have a lot of clinical vignettes, lot of image-based questions, lot of integrated questions in the paper. And not only that, next would be conducted in 2 parts. Part 1 will be the MCQ part. Part 2 will be the practical part, which will happen in the exam. So what exactly is next? Next is a single window exam which will replace both NEET PG and MCI screening. It will have a part 1 and a part 2, just like I told you right now. So part 2 will happen after successful finishing of internship, part 1 before internship. So to be able to do internship in India, we need to pass next part 1, otherwise you are not eligible to do internship. But the key here is this rule is not only for foreign medical graduates, this rule is also for Indian medical graduates. This is a single window exam. This is like they're kind of creating a unification. They're coming like let's think about what happens in America. What happens in America when you are if you do your medical graduation in America or you do it abroad, both of the candidates have to appear for the same exam for licensing as well as for residency. This is what the pattern of next will be, and it is the current government is actually they have actually made the framework for next, and it might come any time now. So we need to be have all these pictures in mind. So the big word that I'm saying is when the next will replace both NEET PG and MCI screening. Even if you're a foreign medical graduate, you need to study like what your Indian graduates counterpart are studying. If they start studying in second year, why would you want to delay it till the last month? Understand this. Once you start getting the hang of things, once you start getting the feeling behind it, now you will be able to plan better. But some of you might say that sir, I am a December aspirant. So what we think is that we are already now in September. If you are a December aspirant, you need to put 2 months of your time, September, October, November at the most. You can put it into your study, but then you need to give yourself 1 month for revision. So that should be your plan. So what we have done in DAMS is we have 3 initiatives for people who are in December exam preparation. So people who are just now starting, so there is a course in the DAMS live courses on eMedicos, which is MCI screening crash course. So normally we do it a face-to-face classroom, but right now we are doing it on the app because of the pandemic. So that's a good course if you are starting now. Second course that we have is a clinical vignette based TND. This is one of the top courses subscribed by the NEET PG aspirants also in 2020 because of clinical vignette pattern in the predominance in the exam. So suppose you are you've already done your coaching classes, you've done your classes, you just want to get a feeling of clinical vignettes. So we have a clinical vignette based TND on eMedicos app which can be directly subscribed. And towards the end we have a rapid revision capsule which is like 1 week course which you can actually revise it in the end. So these are some initiatives which are available, and you can plan according to your level of preparation. If you have already been studying, you can think about a clinical vignette TND. If you're starting your study, you can think about a crash course, finish it in the next 2-3 months, then go for revision. That should be your idea. But the key here is for future aspirants, future foreign medical graduates, think about next, do not think about MCI screening. Also, please think about it as an opportunity where you can actually get a score which will make you eligible for PG also side by side. Now, today, when you're a foreign medical graduate, you need to give MCI screening, and after MCI screening, you have to appear for your PG entrance exam, and you have to give 2 exams. Now you have a single window exam. So when you start thinking of it as once the next will come, it will be a single window exam, and you not only have to pass it, you need to score good in the exam to be able to get a PG seat in a good college in India. So that gives you perspective. That if I start early, I'm not only starting early just to pass, I'm also starting early to get a good PG seat as well. It is just a single window exam happening. So you have to think about it as a single window for both license and PG entrance exam. This would be a common thing for Indian graduates and foreign medical graduates in future. This is what the vision of the government is today. Now, I'm sure you have the picture now, you know what you are expected to do. I'll also give you an idea that what students today are doing. Today, if you're preparing for next as a foreign medical graduate, you can, I have an idea now for you that you can join for next class in any of the DAMS center across the country. For example, suppose if you join in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Delhi, we have 250 centers across the country. Join in any center. Once you join in any center for your course, like for if you're a second year student, your course is pre-foundation. If you're a third year student, you can join foundation. If you are a final year student, you can join regular. You can pick up these courses. Okay. So whatever course you join, what will happen? Your mobile app live access will begin. So you can actually start getting live lectures on your app. So what will happen is, when you are in India, you can attend the face-to-face classes. When you are abroad, you can continue those classes on your app. But the difference is, these classes are not pre-recorded. These are live lectures happening for you. And whenever you come in vacation, and because of Corona, this vacation might get prolonged, you can attend in the centers as well. And plus you get the question bank and the test series, which all Indian counterpart students are also studying. Now, one of the biggest challenge that I face as a teacher is, many times the students will come and say, sir, I'm preparing for MCI exam. Please teach me at a level different from the PG entrance exam. But the challenge that I have as a teacher is, the exam is actually at the same level. Because they are having a single exam now, they are planning a next exam which will be for all the candidates. It is for license for Indian graduates, foreign graduates, as well as for PG seat. So we need to think like how Indian graduates are studying. They are studying from their second year onwards with a classroom course, plus they are getting live lectures from us. They're getting video on demand. And plus you can also do the vacation in your vacation, you can do attend in the center that you have attended. And you get the question bank and the test series and the clinical vignette and the practice, everything goes hand in hand. And what I believe is that we need to do more for foreign medical graduates, and we need to help you to study in a more lively manner. So we have an initiative called as DAMS Campus Ambassador for our Indian colleges, where a student can become a campus ambassador and interact with the DAMS team and the students team and help us conduct academic events. Like recently we conducted a series of quizzes for our students, a series of case presentations from medical colleges across India. And I think we can do similar activities for a foreign medical graduate as well, for which we have initiated a DAMS International Campus Ambassador. What I'll do is, I will share this link in the description of the YouTube channel as well. You can note down this link, and on this link, if you can fill up the form, you can actually become a campus ambassador for your college. This international campus ambassador is for colleges located outside India. We already have a program running for students within India colleges, and we do a lot of activities. We do a lot of free activities also, like we do quizzes, we do case presentations, interactive doubt solving sessions. And I want to take this opportunity to create those sessions, those opportunities for foreign medical graduates also, to promote what I believe is, medical education can be interesting. It is not, there's no need to rote learn Krebs cycle all the time. It can be interesting, it can be made more clinical, it can be made more interesting and more exciting for the students. And with this campus ambassador program, I want to bring that kind of interactions to international students as well. So it would be my request, if you can join and volunteer as a DAMS campus ambassador for your international campus. It would be a great idea, and we all look forward to interact with you through that that forum. And what I always want you to see is that whenever there is a change, next will come as a change. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, or the most intelligent that survives the change. It is one that is most adaptable to change. If I now tell you in simple words that people who are appearing for December exams should have an idea that paper would have more clinical vignettes, the weightage of clinical subjects will be more. You need to give more time in the next 2-3 months on revising your clinical subjects, and again you need to know the basic sciences. There is no doubt on that, because if you don't know them, you will not be able to correlate things. You need to kind of do all of this, and in the last month revise. And if you are a future aspirant, start thinking that there would be an announcement where they will shift MCI into next. I need to start early. It is a single window exam, which will also give me an opportunity to do PG. And why not, plan early, and then look at what the Indian counterpart of your, Indian college students, what they are doing. They're starting in second prof. I also need to start in second prof. Can I join a DAMS course sitting abroad? Yes, you can do that. But it's always a good idea to join in one particular center, because if you join in one particular center, like for example, if you're a resident of Ahmedabad, it's a good idea to join in Ahmedabad, so that when you come back for a vacation for 2 months, 3 months, you can continue your classes in the city, also interact with other students, go back, and the study continues on mobile phone with live lectures. That is what the DAMS plan for future students is. So what I want you to, I wanted you to, I wanted to leave you with a thought. It is always possible to make massive success if we, disregard what has happened in the past. If we disregard what others are telling you, there would always be people telling you, okay, tu kar payega, nahi kar payega. We need to, stop those noises. We need to believe in ourselves. And when we start believing in ourselves, we forgive ourselves for whatever has happened. Even if you were not studying in first, second year, that's okay. Now let's start. So whichever you are in, whichever year you are in, if you now start with the intent to move forward, it is possible now to get into a single window exam and even get a PG seat on that very attempt. It is all possible today. It is all about adapting to the change. I wish you all the best.